Hi everybody, welcome to our live Instagram session. I'm Murray Borrello. I'm the Director and Chair of the Environmental Studies Program at Alma College. And very soon I will be joined by my colleague and friend, Dr. Victor Argueta, who's in physics and pre-engineering. We have already gotten some questions ahead of time and we'll try to get to all of them. And if we don't, we're going to give you some information where you can go and ask us directly on our emails, and we will talk to you individually. So if we don't get to you, hang on, we'll be there. One quick thing before we have Professor Argueta join, let me tell you a little bit about the Environmental Studies program. We are one of the fastest growing majors and minors on campus. Those are opportunities for travel. We've been on 3 different continents. We study sustainability. We connect with people who are doing good work. We give you opportunities for research during the summer, during the school year. And this is not made up research. This is stuff that we do because the community needs our help. And it actually makes a difference in the community. And I can talk more specifically if you guys have questions about that. One other thing that we do is we are very serious about our work, and but we also know how to have fun. So if you do join us either as a major or minor, it's a kind of a family environment. You get to know your peers and the professors that are working with you, and especially in the summer, we're always having dinners for our students and our research students. We do drag you to community meetings. In some cases, you will be presenting at these meetings, and that's because we think that it's really important for you to start early getting out and sharing your knowledge and what you're finding with the people that need to know about environmental issues. Okay, so I am seeing a whole lot of people joining, and so they're waving. Thank you. And if you have questions, don't forget to go live with those. Do you have Dr. Argueta is not on here.
Okay, click this.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Jalapeno Labs. Okay, we're waiting for Dr. Argueta. Sorry about this. It's my first Instagram live.
I think his camera's backwards.
And his camera might be backwards. Victor, your camera might be backwards. Which it looks like he's fixing. There we go. There he is. Victor, welcome, my friend. This is Professor Argueta, and I've kind of given my spiel, and it is now your turn to tell everybody about you, your program, your loves, your fears, everything. Maybe not everything.
Okay, so we just started an engineering program. It's an engineering science program. It's going to start this fall. We're very excited. We try to have a program that is interdisciplinary, that tries to combine the interest of students between engineering, physics, and every other natural science. with environmental science, we've been working for several years now, trying to create these synergies, and we're very excited. I think we can come up with something very
Can you
interesting
talk
in
about
the
a
next
couple
couple
of
of years.
specific projects that you've worked on?
So with environmental science, we had a student a couple of years ago that he was debating between physics and environmental science, and he was just jumping between the two majors. Probably you remember Quinton, and eventually he decided to do both majors, and then he came up with a really nice project to create kind of like a like a boat, like a drone. You can imagine a drone that was just taking samples from the river at different depths, and then analyzing those samples, and then sending those results
And
online.
one
So that
other
was a
thing
pretty
that
cool
I
project a
want to
couple of years
say
ago.
that Professor Argueta brought up is that a lot of what we do is pretty flexible. We also have something at the college that a lot of our students have taken advantage of, and that is a program of emphasis. The program of emphasis is for students that may have either a very specific interest that is not a major that we have on campus, or it may be too broad of an interest. And so we can accommodate that student by devising their own major. And you get a committee together, and it's actually a little more difficult, a little more demanding than a regular major, but it's a lot more rewarding for some students, especially those that don't see exactly what they want in their programs. And Victor, I think that Quentin started that and ended up just doing a double major. I think that's where he found that it was okay, but he was a great candidate to do a program of emphasis. A couple other things. Yep, go ahead.
Well, that, yeah, I don't remember if he did a POE or he did a double major, but I remember he was just trying to combine both. And then he and there was another student that she did a POE. And I think between the two of them is that we started thinking about, well, maybe there's something here that we can try to
And
combine
that
physics,
gets me
engineering, and
to
environmental
another
science.
opportunity that I forgot to mention, which is we have, you'll find this when you come to Elma, is that we have a lot of links with our alumni, and the Scott family is very strong and very loyal, and they are eager to help you. And the one of my students, my former students, Garnet Johnson, is a partner in an environmental consulting firm, and they actually have an office here in Elma, and they provide every summer internships for one of our students. It could be a physics major, could be pre-engineering, could be environmental science. And they also have provided career jobs for our students as well. They are going to play a bigger role in the carrying out of a lot of our curriculum, because right now all of university education is going to be there's going to be a big competition for students, because the number of graduates, high school graduates, that we're going to see is going to be reduced greatly. And so what we want to do is we want to change with the times, and we want to make a lot of opportunities available for students that want to go to graduate school, but students that aren't really sure what they want to do after they graduate. And so the more skill building we can put into their education here, the better. Then they're more marketable. We do have a question related to science education, and I'll talk about the group major first, and then Victor, you can talk about how you do it with physics. But a lot of students come in and want to teach science. Environmental science is not a department or a program that is recognized by the state of Michigan as a teaching major. Like biology, physics, chemistry, those are teaching majors, and you can teach in that discipline, but environmental science right now doesn't have one. We do offer, however, something that is very marketable, makes you very marketable as an elementary ed up to 8th grade. and that is a natural science division group major. And why that makes you more marketable is you're taking a lot of different classes that are going to give you a broad-based knowledge of different sciences in schools like that, especially for younger students. Victor, in addition to talking about the education, there's a question about the pre-engineering, if you want to go into some detail about that.
Yeah, so really quick, there you can do a major in education, and then you can have an option of doing physics. That's the way we can combine. In terms of the classes that of the pre-engineering and engineering program in general, you need to take at least 2 years of math, 2 years of physics. You need to take 5 classes in engineering, and then your distributed requirements. If you're interested in the 3-2 program, in the pre-engineering program, there's only the 2 years of physics, the 2 years of math, and then there's
That
this
sounds
number
great.
of pre-engineering classes per se.
Several questions came in quick session. I saw that. One was related to the pre-engineering. Can you talk a little bit, maybe take us through, if someone wants to do pre-engineering, what does that mean for their education? And then what does that mean about what would they do when they graduate?
Okay, so really quick, we have the engineering major, and that is 4 years at Alma. You get a bachelor in science and engineering science, and that's gonna give you kind of like a broad spectrum of what is engineering. You can go with that degree, go into grad school, or if you want to go into industry, that will be perfectly fine. Within that engineering major, we have what's called the dual degree or the 3-2 program. In that program, what we do is that you take 3 years, sorry, at Alma College, and then you transfer to another institution. We have academic agreements with Karen University and Oakland University, but if you want to transfer to any other institution, you can do it. And then you do 2 years at that institution, and at the end of that, you end up with 2 bachelor's degrees, one from Alma College and another one from the institution that you decide to transfer. So, for example, students that want to do civil engineering, they really, really want to do civil engineering, then the dual degree is a better option because we don't have civil engineering. But if a student wants to do something related with biophysics, or they want to do some biomedical engineering, they want to do environmental science with physics, then they need a program that's more flexible, and then I think we are a better choice.
Let me comment on that. That's going to lead into this other question, which is a fantastic question. These are all really good questions, you guys, that you're asking. I'm impressed. How does a liberal arts education really benefit you if you're going to go in the sciences? That is bizarre because today I got a call, actually I got an email from a prospective employer that one of my former students is applying for a position with. Now, they graduated a couple of years ago. They had done their master's in environmental science and worked for, I think, the state, and now this is an EPA position. And I asked this person that was, interviewing me for a reference, and I said, tell me about what you think of liberal arts trained students. Like, I mean, would you rather have a university student, or would you rather have a student that comes out from liberal arts? And this woman was absolutely, without exception, there was no hesitation. She said, oh, one of the reasons we are thinking of hiring your student is because she came out of a liberal arts school. Because according to this person, liberal arts trained students are better problem solvers. They have more broad-based knowledge. And especially for my student, my alum now, she had a lot of research experience and real life, field work experience. And so all of those things together kind of make you, I think, a little more marketable. What do you think, Victor? Do you think for the harder sciences, the same goes?
I think for us, we have two advantages. One is that when students come to Alma, they can start doing research right in the first semester. They start working in projects, and that makes a difference because they start creating this portfolio that they can bring to employees at the end of 4 years. And the other one, I think, is that the liberal school, they give them a big broad, they give them the big picture. Then when they find a solution, the solution of a problem has consequences not only on the particular area that they are dealing, but they can spread those consequences to other
Yeah,
areas.
we don't
So I think those are
ever
big advantages of a
talk
liberal school.
in the environmental studies program. We have 3 tracks. We have science, environmental health, and environmental policy. But you can't do one or without the other two. And you can't talk about environmental science without talking about environmental policy, because the science feeds the policy and the policy dictates what kind of science we need. And that leads to another really good question, which is, what are some specific local environmental projects you've been working on? And we've done a lot of stuff. We are sort of fortunate to have a former chemical plant down the road away, downwind, that is now a Superfund site. The college played an integral role in setting up a community advisory group that works with the US EPA in helping in informing and being informed about decisions related to the cleanup of the site and the river that flows around the site. We've gotten a lot of students' research experience with EPA on that site. So one thing is working with EPA on water quality issues. We do a lot of water quality studies upstream of Alma College and the headwaters. This is a watershed that goes into Lake Huron into Saginaw Bay. And there's a lot of agricultural runoff pollution that we study. Those are 2 big ones. My colleague, Amanda Harwood, is a toxicologist, and she's now looking at the toxicity of de-icing agents that we put on our roads. And a couple of students, actually a student just published a paper on that. We have all kinds of studies that relate to anything and everything that you can think of. And if we're not doing that study, we can help you find that area of study that you have. Victor, you've done some stuff on 3D printing and biology. What have you guys done?
Well, let me, before I answer that, so some students, when they come and talk to me about environmental engineering, one of the things they want to know is renewable energies, like windmills and solar panels and all these alternative energy sources. So does the environmental science has anything to help students that want to want to
Awesome.
do that?
Other opportunities that we can offer, which may not be directly related to Alma, is we have placed students in research opportunities at other institutions. I had a student who wanted to go into wildlife management, study at the University of Montana for a summer, caribou herds in Alaska, and she got paid for that. And by the way, Victor and I think, failed to tell you that in almost every case, you are paid for your internship or your research work that you do with us. There's stipends to help manage that. The one other quick question, Victor, and then you can help answer this one as well, is someone had asked whether we, what are how do we make you competitive in environmental engineering? And I'll throw my 2 cents in, and then since it's engineering, you can correct me probably. But like I said, this is a very interesting time in higher ed. And I think that what we're moving towards, and where a lot of places are moving towards, is combining real world experience and the skills that you need to go right from college into a position, into a job. And so working with companies like Triterra gets you that field experience. This summer, unfortunately, we've canceled this because of the pandemic, but we had a 2-week skill set opportunity for you to get what they call hazardous waste and management training, HAZWOPER training, and as well as getting field experience. And that makes you extremely marketable when you go out and try to get a job, either with the government or in the private sector. So one of the things is that in addition to the theoretical knowledge that you will get plenty of, the research experience we give you on real world problems, we also give you skill building real world opportunities as well. Victor?
Yeah, I think the partnership with Triterra is very exciting. I think that's a unique opportunity because students will be able to work at a real company doing consulting and analyzing and not just shadowing someone on an internship. I thought also one of the big advantages is summer research programs that students can be involved in research during 10 weeks. They get a stipend and they can be working in a project with a small group or just directly with the faculty, and that creates
Can
a
you
great advantage.
go ahead? Yeah.
So there was another question about sprint terms, like if you have any, and if you have any
Well,
travel in
why don't
sprint
you
terms. You
talk about
travel more.
yours?
I don't travel
What do you
much with my
do?
sprint terms. Okay, so for the last couple of years, I've done a sprint term that is it's a intense class that runs for 3 weeks, and I have worked with people in the art department, and basically what we do is that we create a monster. So it's a monster workshop sprint term, and we watch horror movies, and we go to Mackinac Island, and we do the haunted tour at midnight. And the idea is that with the people in the art department, they teach the students how to do the outside of the monster, and I teach them how to do the sensors and how to do the bones of the monster. So the idea is that we create monsters that they can move or they can react to the presence of people or sounds or light or whatever. And that's a very fun project, a very fun sprint term because it's just more like a workshop. Students have an idea, we watch movies, we discuss them, and then we just start making monsters.
My spring terms do travel a lot. I've done some on campus. I will admit, I don't think I've done anything as fun as what he just described. But we travel to, we've been to South America, and we've done comparative analysis of environmental policy and taken you into the rainforest and the cloud forests in South America. And we've been to the EU, different parts of the EU, and we do comparative analysis of agricultural policy. Last year we did the culture of food and sustainability in agriculture, where we get our food. And where we are in the United States. Now my family's from Italy, and we always have to visit my family when we go to Italy. It's just, you just have to. But one of the things that you find when you go to places like Italy and France is that they have a different view about what they eat, how much they eat, and it's a lot more healthy than ours. So there's a culture issue that we study. We do a lot with policy when we travel. And sometimes, though, we do things like we go to national parks and we just kind of bask in the beauty of nature. And that was a question that somebody sent ahead of time related to, what are you going, what is the thing that you like about the environment that, the most? And I would argue that it's beholden to both Victor and myself to expose you to the beauty of nature from multiple perspectives, from perspective of why things and how things work, to just the natural beauty of the environment. Because without that, and without that sensibility, you're not going to be that avid about helping the environment. Victor, what do you think?
I was reading at this last question, like what would be the choice for someone to pursue a master's in water resources and civil engineering? So from my opinion will be do a BS in engineering science with a concentration in environmental science, go specifically to the track of hydrology, and that will help you to get all the background and get you in a good position to get a
Yeah,
master's or
that's
job
an
in
easy. We can
in
set you
water
up with
resources.
that very easily. Um, so um, there was another question that I think I missed. You did that. Oh, one other thing, real quick on spring terms is you don't have to do a spring term with your major department or whatever. And a lot of times I recommend, and I know Victor does as well, that my advisees in my majors go and do something completely different. And you know, the fact that Professor Argueta here is saying, I work with the art department in teaching a class, I partner with the art department teaching a class, gives you a pretty good idea of how close we are with the other departments and programs on campus. Many of you who come here are going to be you know, you're going to be a vocalist, a musician, in band, acting, dancing, piping, whatever that is, and that's good, or you're going to be an athlete. Those are really important to you, and they're important to the college, because if you think about it, unless you major in that, in those areas, you're not probably going to do it as a career. And so what we do, and what I would like for my students to do, is to go do cool stuff that is completely different from your major. And you know, a lot of people are interested in music, and there's a spring term that goes to Grand Rapids, and they do the Gilmore Festival, which is pretty awesome. My son, who actually graduated from Elma College, did that, and he was an integrated physiology major, and he loved it, absolutely loved it. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, I will say that. So you guys are listening. Imagine that you're gonna go into a physics major, engineering major, and the engineering major has 9 classes that you need to take. So all the people that are in doing engineering are gonna have the same 9 classes. So what's gonna make the difference between you and someone else in the same major are gonna be all the extra classes that are not part of your major. That's gonna be different from your education from everybody else. So those not classes that don't belong to your major are the big differential for you. So it's not just the classes that you need to take to graduate. They are the ones that are going to be that are going to make the difference for you. So if you have a passion in music, if you have a passion in sports, you have a always want to do physics or biology or whatever, or literature or philosophy, that's the opportunity that you have to go and explore and see how you combine that unrelated interest
Victor,
with
how
your
would
major.
you say one of the looked like one of the questions that went up in the very beginning while I was blabbing asked about athletics? I thought I saw that. Um, and a student just asked this not too long ago, prospective student, about is the relationship between professors and athletics.
Well, I think I want to say that almost all the students that are in physics or engineering, they are athletes or they are in some kind of performance band. I think it's very unusual the student that is not in one of those two. Uh, so we work with them. We arrange the schedule so it doesn't interfere with the practices. And if they have to leave for rehearsal or whatever, we try to accommodate as much as we can. But I think it's very common. Like I have football players. Used to have a dance double major.
Yeah,
So
the
that's
other
very,
thing that
very
I'll
common.
add to that is we have somewhere between 80 and 90 student organizations. So our students are involved. And for a while, I haven't looked at the statistics for this year, but Alma College was in the top 3% of all colleges and universities for number of hours of service our students provide to the community. And we have something called alternative breaks. And Victor, I don't know if you've done any of those. Have you?
No. But one of the things in the engineering science major, the new one, is that we require 200 hours of practice, and that can be done either by alternative breaks, just by doing service, or by doing internships, or by doing research. So any of those three things that allow you to practice engineering or what you've been learning, that counts towards your major.
Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the time frame. Is there anybody who's on that hasn't gotten an answer to a question, especially if you kind of threw one out really fast in the beginning, we didn't cover it, have a opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Victor, what else you think we haven't covered?
I don't know. I think we pretty much talked about everything, I think, from what we wanted to say. I don't know. I mean, I agree. If anyone has a question, uh,
Yep,
go
and
ahead.
the other thing is too,
I think we
we
have a couple more
will,
minutes.
if you are listening and you are too shy to ask, which may happen, then you can either talk to your representative, your admissions rep at the college, and they will put you in touch with whoever you want to, whoever makes sense to talk to. That could be myself or Professor Argueta, or it could be somebody else on campus. A lot of times we have questions with athletics, and we have a pretty good relationship with them. Yeah, do you want to handle this? Or do you want me to?
Ask me a question. Uh,
So
yeah, I think you will be
the
better for this
question
one.
is related to marine biology. If you can't see it, how will environmental science get us ready for this? So marine biology, we have a lot of students that come in and say that they want to do marine biology, which is interesting since we're in the middle of the continent. But marine biology is one of those areas of study that you really don't major in. I mean, you can at certain institutions, but it's rare that you get a marine biology major. It's probably something that you more likely do as a graduate thesis. And so we have had several students do a biology, an environmental science degree, and then go on and do marine science as a master's degree or PhD. We do have marine science as a spring term, and that's what I was going to say. Professor Rowe, who's the chair of the biology department, does teach courses that give you a pretty good foundation for marine science, marine biology. And then you go to Hawaii and actually see it live and up close, including sharks and everything. So I think what the question is there's no question you can get what you need at Alma College to prepare you for graduate school in marine biology, and we've done it. And when those of you are thinking about specific things, especially in engineering too, Professor Argueta, I think, would agree, and give him a sec to finish up, that we give you that foundational knowledge, and that's what's so great about the liberal arts. And then that allows you to go and specialize somewhere else. Would you agree?
Yeah. Just piggybacking from your answers. Like, yeah, we have the biology department. They have a really active research on marine biology. Well, and marine life biology. They go to Galapagos Island, and I think we're one of the few institutions that have access to the Galapagos Island. The Galapagos Island is restricted, so it's not that you can just go and do research there. But we've been able to do that. So I think if you contact someone in the biology department, that would be a better match. Uh,
Well, I was
I
just going to
forgot your
say, so
question.
you
What
basically
was
answered
what was you
that, but
asking?
there's some students that come in with very specific ideas. Like I've had a lot of students come in and say, well, I want to be an environmental engineer, which can mean a lot of different things. Or someone comes and says, well, I want to be a chemical engineer. And so I just so we're clear on this, and because this is kind of important for this session. We're telling you that we are providing opportunities for you to do one of two things: to either get a foundation in a liberal arts environment that gives you opportunities to travel, do research, internships, all that stuff, but gives you that liberal arts degree, and then go and do a master's or PhD. But we're also telling you that we have this program that Dr. Argueta is heading up, that's giving you the specific skills that will allow you to then partner with another institution and give you a dual degree in from both Alma College and the other institution in specific type of engineering.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you guys need to be aware is that you're gonna be changing in the 4 years that you're in college. Like think about who you were and what were your interests when you started high school and where are you right now. So your interests are gonna change. So what we want to give you in a major is a major that allows you to grow the same way that you're gonna be growing while you're in college. College is about discovering and learning and experiences and finding yourself. So don't feel like you're gonna go to college and you're gonna start a major and then you're not gonna move from that major ever in your life, because that's not true. As you change, your interest will change, and how you see your major is also gonna change. And what we want to give you is that flexibility. Like, okay, this major is gonna allow me
That's a
to grow
perfect way to end
where I want to
this,
go.
because we are out of time. Beautiful.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you everybody. And if you have any questions, just send
It
us
was
an
great.
email.
Hope we can do it
And
again.
I'm glad
Take
this was
care,
kind of fun.
everybody.
See you.